Hello friends, welcome to Knowledge Galaxy to rediscover the basics with Mayank Tiwari, a premier coaching and training channel dedicated to metallurgy studies and consultancy. Established to cater the needs of students, degree, diploma and AM/IIM metallurgy, competitive and recruitment exams for GATE, SAIL and various other government and private sector companies, metallurgical industries, working and aspiring professionals and whosoever seeking knowledge and information about various subjects and topics of metallurgy, ferroalloys, operational process optimization, productivity improvement analysis, etc. To impart practical industrial knowledge as per your specific requirements via tailor-made training sessions for your colleagues, employees and students, please contact me on knowledgegalaxy26 @ gmail.com or WhatsApp me on +91 99 071 44101 for scheduling and organizing the sessions at your place or via video conferencing. My dear friends, nowadays technology has improved so much that physical distance, actual physical distance doesn't matter anymore. You can get all your doubts cleared by sitting at your home, at your comfort zone, just by contacting me over WhatsApp or phone, so that for your benefit, please do contact me for any of your doubts. My dear friends, I have made so many videos which are available on my YouTube channel. So I request you to visit my channel regularly and repeatedly and watch all the videos available there, so that you can gain maximum knowledge about the subject and topics, and also request you to watch all my videos from start to finish, so that you can gain the maximum and complete knowledge about the topic. My dear friends, as you know that training is costly, but not to train is still costlier. And when you are not having complete knowledge or don't get any information about the topic which you need to know, so you can contact me. If you don't find anyone who can help you to clear your doubts, you do contact me as soon as possible. And so right now in this video I am discussing about Today I am going to discuss about yet another very important and practical aspect of industrial application. This is used worldwide in every industry and also useful in each and every type of problem solving in day-to-day life. So the topic of presentation is root cause analysis. My dear friends, you might have heard about this word very often in your day-to-day office work. So in this video, I will be describing in detail about what is root cause analysis, why it is done, how it is done, what are its effects, and how to implement it effectively in your day-to-day life or in your organization for problem solving. So before starting this video, I would like to request you all to go through the messages given in the next slides. seen and observed in the video that no water can be filled in the pot if the pot is not aseptic, and also if the pot is already filled. The water can only be filled when there is some space in the pot. So my dear friends, I request you to keep your minds open for receiving the information so that you can receive the information correctly and gain the knowledge. But if you feel that you are already having much knowledge or more knowledge, or if you are not receptive towards receiving the new knowledge or information, you cannot gain anything. So for gaining new knowledge and information, please keep your mind open and be receptive for the new knowledges always. My dear friends, I am having one of very important announcement for you all. The information which I want to share is that if you want to advertise your products, services, company or anything else on my channel, then please contact me on knowledgegalaxy26@gmail.com or WhatsApp me on +91 99 071 for putting your advertisements in my forthcoming videos. My dear friends, as you all are aware that advertising in the YouTube channels is very common and very fruitful method of approaching to the mass volume of viewers. So you can contact me for putting your advertisements in my forthcoming videos. I hope my messages in the previous slides are very much clear to you all. So now let's start the presentation, and to start with, let's have the overview of this presentation. Here I will be letting you know that what will be the major topics covered in detail in this presentation. And first thing is, this is objectives for learners. What will be the objectives for learners to watch this video and learn from this video? Next is, what is RCA? This is the fundamental question, the answer of which you will be getting in detail in the presentation. Why do an RCA? Why involve all related persons in RCA as team members and as implementer of key action plans? And last but not the least is tips on getting started with RCA. So these are the broad topics which I will be covering in detail in this presentation. So let's be enthusiastic and have patience and go through all the slides very carefully and sincerely so that you can learn the messages given in the video, in the presentation to the full extent. So these are the objectives for learners. First objective and first and foremost objective is create teachable moment for systems thinking. Next is introduce them to a tool or process that they are or will be part of in the future. Third is demonstrate common pitfalls when trying to do critical safety analysis. So now let's answer me, what is root cause analysis, commonly known as RCA? Process for identifying contributing or causal factors that underlie variations in performance associated with adverse events or close calls. Process that features interdisciplinary involvement of those closest to and or most knowledgeable about the situation. Find at least one cause that can be acted upon such that it meets our goals and objectives and is within our control. So now
Where did it come from? This is the next question, from where it is started. So it is a derivative of failure mode effect analysis, commonly known as FMEA, and this is reliability engineering for US military in 1949 to determine effect of system and equipment failures. FMEA used by NASA for Apollo space program in 1960s, and FMEA in US manufacturing in 1960s and 70s. And US auto industry FMEA standards is implemented in 1993. So all these things are the predecessors from where the RCA was derived and implemented worldwide. Okay, now the question comes, why root cause analysis? System and process flaws cause most failures and require systematic investigation and analysis to unearth root causes and develop solutions. Most common comprehensive systematic analysis, that is root cause analysis, RCA, and RCAs help organizations understand and respond to the contributing factors and interrelationships of those factors when developing and implementing action plans to correct vulnerabilities and fortify systems to protect man, machine, materials, and organizations against potential and actual harm. Characteristics of root cause analysis. Within 45 days of facility becoming aware that an RCA is required, RCAs must be completed, signed by facility director or designee, and documented, and follow the process steps provided in the RCA guidebook and explained more fully in subsequent sections. So these are the main characteristics of RCA. Root cause analysis flow diagram. The crucial process steps in the root cause analysis include: first, getting started, that is from day 1 through day 14. Analysis, that is day 15 to day 45 days. And feedback. Last but not the least is implementation and measurement. This is also very much equally important, because if it is not implemented and measured, then all the efforts put will be gone in vain. So this is the most important part of RCA. So why involve all related persons in RCA? This might be a question, that why to involve all persons in RCA. So the answers are: first, all related persons know what happens at the microprocess level. All related persons are future leaders in any industry. Next is either as team member or as implementer of key action plans. Next is all related persons participation in plant safety activities is the baseline. RCA model. Now let us discuss about the RCA model. RCA model focuses on prevention, not blame or punishment. Cornerstone is that no one comes to work to make a mistake or hurt someone. Next, focuses on system level vulnerabilities rather than individual performance. Communication, environment or equipment, training, rules, policies and procedures, fatigue and scheduling. So these are all the parts of RCA model. And last is barriers. So RCA model in detail: an analysis which identifies changes that can be made in systems through either redesign or development of new processes, equipment or approaches that will reduce the risk of the event or close call recurrence. My dear friends, I have highlighted and underlined this word recurrence, so you always keep this word in mind that RCA is done to avoid the recurrence of any close call or mishappening. Human factors engineering actions work best, but training, writing, policies and reminders to pay more attention are generally ineffective. When is an RCA done? For any adverse event or close call that is determined by leadership or SAC score. This SAC I will be explaining in the next coming slides. Close calls occur dozens to hundreds of times more frequently than the adverse event they are the harbinger of. It makes sense to learn from close calls instead of waiting for a catastrophe to occur. Now let us discuss about the NCPS RCA model. What is this? NCPS stands for National Center for Patient Safety. It is a US organization contributing towards the Army personnel patients of US Army, and NCPS RCA model is a rigorous, legally protected and confidential approach to answering what happened, that is event or close call, what happened that day, what usually happens, that is what should be the norms, and what should have happened, that is what should have been the policies. Why did it happen? What are we going to do to prevent it from happening again, that is our actions or outcomes from that particular incident. How will we know that our actions improved plant safety? That is, what are the measures or tracking taken for the stoppage of recurrence of that particular incidents? My dear friends, just to interrupt you all, here I would like to emphasize on some special important aspect of Knowledge Galaxy. Here, specialized subject-wise coaching classes and topic-wise doubts clearing are available. I am available for all of you to clear all your doubts, and especially for Diploma Engineering, Metallurgy and Mechanical students, Indian Institute of Metals, that is IIM, Part 1 and Part 2, and competitive and recruitment exams for GATE, SAIL and various other government and private sector companies, metallurgical industries, working and aspiring professionals. Here I would like to emphasize that whatever queries and doubts you are having in your mind regarding any subject or topic of metallurgy or any other ferroalloys production, operation, maintenance, so you can contact me for getting your doubts cleared. I will try to provide you accurate knowledge and to the best possible extent at the very shortest period of time, so that you can gain your knowledge, clear all your doubts, so that you can grow in your career, whether it is academic career, whether it is professional career, and so that you can develop and grow. So to continue with, here complete syllabus coverage for the students aspiring to appear in the forthcoming semester exams, that is December or June, I will be providing you all. So please contact me on knowledgegalaxy26@gmail.com or WhatsApp me on +91 99 101 for scheduling and organizing the classes or getting informations to clear your doubts via video conferencing, call or WhatsApp. My dear friends, you might have encountered that You might have been having many of the doubts regarding process, technology, why they are doing, why it is done, how it is done. So, and if you don't find any answer to them and nobody is there to guide you properly, so my dear friends, I am here available to guide you all, to make you know and grow, and so that you don't have any doubts related to your process, products, technology, syllabus, and I will make sure that all of your doubts get clarified and you know the topic and subject very well and completely. So again, let's move on. Now let us discuss the RCA goals. RCA goals are to find out first what happened, next why did it happen, next is what do you do to prevent it from happening again, and how do we know we made a difference. So these are the main RCA goals. Now RCA goals are in the expanded form in detail, step by step. First, a tool in the system approach for prevention, not punishment of adverse events. A tool in the effort to build a culture of safety. A process for identifying basic or contributing causes. A process for identifying what can be done to prevent recurrence. A process for measuring and tracking outcomes. Tools used in RCA, let us discuss about them. So first is brainstorming and why analysis. You might have heard about it, a very familiar word in industry. Many times it is used. Next is Pareto chart. Next tool is cause and effect diagram. Next is scatter diagram. Next flow chart, histogram, and control charts. So these are the main basic tools which are used in the RCA. So now let us start with the step 1 problem definition. This is the part of how to start RCA. So first step is problem definition, means how to define the problem exactly. So first is what is the problem? The definition of the problem should be as crisp and accurate as possible. Second, when did it happen? Next is where did it happen? What is the significance? And know who, don't place blame on anybody. I am emphasizing on this, know who, that is don't place blame on anybody. Because blame is equal to avoidance and silence. If you blame somebody for some problem or mistake, then the result will be either that person will try to avoid it or keep silence. So it will hinder to find the actual root cause of the problem. And for this, work backwards chronologically from event and work forward chronologically to clarify the paradise. Now create a causal tree. For each effect, ask why. Look for conditions and actions. Connect all causes with caused by. Support causes with evidence. I am again emphasizing on this, with evidence, means support causes with evidence. Next, sensed, that is first hand experienced. Next is inferred, that is circumstantial, gauge readings, etc. And next is intuitions, means inadequate effort. Emotional, that is how people felt about what happened. This is also very important, because whatever activity or happened, the people what they feel about it. Next, ask whys using depth first search. Next is return to square one and start again, as it is a continuous process till we reach the actual root cause of the problem, which can be acted upon to solve and stop its recurrence. A decision making tool, that is SAC. Let us find out what is SAC. The SAC stands for the Safety Assessment Code. Then the Safety Assessment Code SAC score is a risk estimate that considers both the actual and potential consequences of a situation. Close calls can point out system level vulnerabilities as powerfully as actual events. All actual and potential SAC is equal to 3 means it needs an RCA. 3 is highest risk, 2 is intermediate risk, and 1 is lowest risk. So these are the numbering pattern used in this SAC. And this is the table which shows severability and probability and all other its contents of this table. So these are the points from which the SAC score is judged. Means first is severability and probability, next is catastrophic, major, moderate and minor. So this is the frequency: frequent, occasional, uncommon or remote. So if this score comes to 3, then it means that an RCA is required. I hope you are getting my point. So why is an RCA important? You definitely have to ask, why is an RCA important? So let's find out. It is a method that helps to keep our focus on designing in safety for all staff rather than modifying an individual's performance. That is, it moves us beyond blame. Next, stay honest about safety as a real priority, not just an official priority, through the strength of actions taken and outcomes measured. Why use a particular method? You might ask that why to use only a particular method? So the answers are, because none of us can think of all the questions relevant to complex systems on our own, and because we each bring our own personal and professional knowledge and biases to the table. And why reinvent the wheel every time? When not to do an RCA. This is also important. When not to do an RCA. When it is an intentionally unsafe acts, criminal cases or criminal acts, situations involving alcohol or substance abuse by employees. Next, alleged or sustained personal abuse. If any of these 4 situations come up during an RCA, the RCA is halted. The CEO or facility director is then advised to take an independent administrative approach. RCA findings remain confidential or protected and are not shared with the CEO or others as prescribed by the law. Now, language of a human errors. What are the different languages of human errors? How they respond? Omissions, that is, failed to do something required. Next is mistake, means wrong intent executed as planned. Slip, it is right intent execution not as planned. and next is lapse, means similar to sleep. Now mechanical failures, they are also responsible for the any close call or event to happen. All unanticipated mechanical failures must have a previous cause. Means there might be design error, manufacturing defect, mismaintained and misoperated. So other causal conditions, what are these? These are the other causal conditions, means physical environment, leadership, equipment design, policies and procedures, and others are individual performance, organizational environment, knowledge, skills and abilities, and communications. So all these are other causal conditions which may cause any mishappening to happen or close call to occur. So how an RCA works? Let us find out. An event or close call meriting an RCA occurs, then the CEO or the facility director signs the charter memo initiating the RCA team. Next step is RCA team completes the work within 45 calendar days of when the facility became aware an RCA was needed. CEO is debriefed by the team and concurs or non-concurs with proposed actions and signs off on the RCA. CEO non-concurrence requires explanation and additional or revised actions by the RCA team. RCA actions will be measured for effectiveness in preventing future adverse events or close calls. So now key RCA roles. What are the different roles in RCA? First, top leaders. The success of any and all persons' safety initiatives depends upon visible leadership support, that is town meetings, storytelling, coaching, greeting teams, participating on a team, participating in a debriefs, incentives, awards, etc. Next is advisor. Ensure a no blame approach, provides just in time training and ongoing consultation, example flow charting, development of root causes, actions, outcome measures, etc. Next is team leader. It keeps the team on task to ensure root causes are found and effective preventive actions are developed on time. Key RCA roles continue. Recorder is responsible for entering information into RCA document, that is live real-time documentation during Teams meetings. Next is team members. They are full and active participation and commitment to the RCA process, simulate the event or close call, review documents and literature, conduct interviews, develop root cause statements and action plan, participate in leadership debriefing. So now let us have the overview of steps to implement RCA. First is charter an interdisciplinary team, that is 4 to 6 people. Make a team of 4 to 6 people of interdisciplinary personnel. Those familiar and unfamiliar with the process. Next is flow diagram of what happened. Triggering questions to expand this view. Site visits and simulations to augment. Interviews with those involved or those with similar job. Next, resources like articles, online databases, etc. Next, root cause or contributing factors developed, and these are 5 rules of causation to guide or push the team deep enough. And next is cause and effect diagram, etc. So these are the main overview of steps. Now overview of steps in continuation. First, feedback to reporters. Lessons learned, not necessarily focus of RCA. Next is development of actions, that is remedies. Stronger actions means physical, permanent and human factors based. Weaker actions means procedural, temporary and increased vigilance. And development of outcomes, measurements, communicated to senior management and signed off. So these are the overview of steps of NRC. So now report preparation. How to prepare the report for the top management? First, cause and effect relationships must be clear. Don't overstate, understate or emotionalize report. It may show up in court, and negative descriptors may not be used like poorly, inadequate, unsafe, unreliable and complacencies among many others. These words should not be used. Report preparation means eliminate possible biases. Fundamental attribution error like lazy, aggressive, zealous, happy, these words should not be used. Us, then bias, this also should not be there. Severity effect means large outcomes require large causes. Temporal and spatial continuity means guilt by association. So now completing an RCA, let us have the first step, that is step 1 is charter a team. As I have already explained earlier that the team should have composition of 4 to 6 members, leader, advisor, subject matter expert and non-subject matter expert. Large enough for diverse viewpoints and opinions. The team should be large enough for diverse viewpoints and opinions. And small enough to keep meetings manageable at the same time. Describe professional titles and specific roles of individual and on RCA team in charter and may also be included in charter memorandum. Recorder needed to document meeting notes, interviews, question and answers and guide next steps. The next step is completing an RCA. In step 2 is conduct just-in-time training. So this is important, and why it is so, let us have look on it. Conduct RCA team training with every RCA event, even if no new members are present. This is important just to refresh the team members and so that they don't overlook any fact of RCA and any procedure of RCA. So it is important to do just-in-time training for every RCA before starting the RCA. Senior leader greetings shows tangible executive leadership support for RCA team. Just-in-time training should include an overview of the RCA process, information on confidentiality, timeline of the process, roles and responsibilities of the team members, event briefing and milestones with meeting dates or times established at first meeting. The next step is completing an RCA is step 3, create the initial flow diagram. The initial flow diagram is the visualization of each known process set up to the point in which the system failure occurred. It is an RCA process step that forces the team to lay out known and relevant facts of the event both graphically and chronologically. While there is no single correct way to illustrate the initial flow diagram, normally this is accomplished using text within shapes and arrows. Some additional tools include process maps, swim lane diagrams, post-it note boards, mind maps, cause and effect diagrams, fault trees, and event trees. The diagram represents the initial work of the team as they determine each step in the event, where each step is expressed in broad rather than granular language. Ultimately, the steps should sequentially flow from one step to the next to allow a full understanding of what transpired and what elements of the system require improvement. So this is a sample of initial flow diagram. Graphically documents known and relevant facts of the event. So this is the beginning, this is first step, this is next step. In between there is an identified information gap, questions and or missing informations, and the last is the end. So this is just an example of initial flow diagram. The next step 4 is craft the initial understanding. The initial understanding is a narrative expression of the RCA team's work that produced the initial flow diagram. This means that the initial understanding may explain information in greater detail than is possible in the stepwise display in the initial flow diagram. The initial understanding should be viewed as separate from and complementary to the initial flow diagram. The team should first learn about the context of the event, including staffing, environmental and other influencing factors or data points. This critical work involves understanding and defining what factual events took place leading to an adverse event. By objectively investigating what happened, the team may find missing information that changes the understanding of the event and in turn helps the team more accurately connect the dots. Now next is the step 4 is craft the initial understanding. Continues. It is narrative expression of the initial flow diagram, adds greater detail of events, staffing, equipment, products, environmental or other influencing factors. It discovers the facts like asks why for each item in the flow diagram, identifies missing pieces. Next is identifies resources, means policies, medical records or committee minutes, for example. Determines who to interview. Next step 5 is identify information gaps. First is determine missing information. Next is gather data related to the event. Next is identify system and process vulnerabilities. Visit the scene of the event and simulate the event if possible. Completing an RCA, then step 5, first is identify information gaps. While drafting the initial understanding, keep the team on task by using a parking lot for questions that arise that are not directly associated with the event but may require analysis at a later time. Determine what information is missing or needed for complete understanding of the event by first gathering data to gain understanding of the event, the causal factors and associated root causes. Ensuring consistent use of the triage questions discussed below. These triage questions are discussed below to identify system and process vulnerabilities. This allows for continued focus on environmental factors and systems rather than people. Continuing to gather data until the team establishes a clear understanding of the event and the existing factors that led up to it. Visiting the scene of the event and using the event related equipment if possible to safely simulate what happened. A thorough review of available information will allow the team to determine what is not known about the event and what information still needs to be discovered. So now next step is usage of triage questions. So what are these triage questions? These are the standard set of questions which assists the team in considering areas of inquiry and reveals vulnerabilities in systems and work processes. So use of triage questions is continued. Triage questions are a standardized set of questions that help to ensure the team is carrying out a comprehensive inquiry. All triage questions should be addressed by the RCA team. Triage questions are answered either yes, no or not applicable. Each of these answers assumes that the question asked was earnestly considered or addressed by the team and is acceptable. Triage questions may be applied when the team builds the initial flow diagram. However, they can also be referenced throughout the RCA process. As the team analyzes the event, they may naturally develop some of their own questions to augment the standardized triage questions. These team questions should be combined with the standardized triage questions to conduct the investigation and interviews. So next, step 7 is collect resources and prepare for interviews. Identify team members to obtain and review the documents. Next is identify individuals to be interviewed. Third is determine interview date or time and location, and draft interview questions. As a team, determine documents you feel appropriate to obtain and review. Identify which team members will obtain and review which documents. Examples of documents for review may include policies, procedures, reports, regulations, directives, medical records, and manufacturer's literature, etc. Establish goals and deadlines to complete the review. The review should be of current regulatory guidelines, evidence-based practice guidelines, current policies or directives that help our understanding of what should have occurred to help guide your investigation. It could also help in developing questions for the interviews. If you understand what should have happened, you can target the why it wasn't done. What barriers, process issues, or knowledge gaps occurred that lead to the event. These documents will help you understand work as imagined versus work as done. So next step 8 is conduct the safety investigation. Develop a strategy to fill in the information gaps, including but not limited to review pertinent documents, second, interviews, and simulate the event. For this simulation work, Loops and Ward in 2019 said that simulation and debriefing in event analysis helped identify multiple underlying causes of teamwork errors, latent risk factors, things that make errors more likely, and more specifically system errors in surgical cases. So this is just an example, but it is equally applicable in all RCA cases. Next is literature review, determine evidence-based practices. Next, prevalence of incidents. And next step is data pool. So, review pertinent documents. What it is? As a team determines documents you feel appropriate to obtain and review, identify which team members will obtain and review which documents. Establish goals and deadlines to complete the reviews. These documents may include but not be limited to current policy, SOP, directives, reports, pertinent medical records, etc., regulations, manufacturers, literature, etc. These documents will help you to develop interview questions. Interviews. Identify individuals to interview, select a date, time and location agreeable to all parties, develop and organize your questions in advance to help keep on task. Reinforce that the process is not punitive and is protected and privileged. Encourage individuals to tell their story and thank them for sharing it. Simulation. Recreating the event with original individuals. This study showed that there was an increase in the discovery of errors compared to traditional adverse event investigation. Literature review. Literature review will help determine current evidence-based practice and prevalence of an incident. This may help with developing action plans later in the process. Data pool utilizes the NCPS to pull and identify related events. This will help you better understand the prevalence of the event and potentially lessons learned to help with action plans later in the process. Next step is conduct the safety investigation. Continues. So this is the safety investigation. We have to ask where, what, how, why, when, but we should not ask who. I will explain this in the next coming slides. So you will be asking the what, where, when, how and why, but not the who for step 7 and 8 of the RCA process. Remember, the focus is on the system and not the individual. So that's why we should not ask who. The team will identify the gaps in knowledge as well as attempt to understand work as done versus work as imagined, including but not limited to using established policies, directives, protocols, evidence-based practice, industry standards, interviews, pertinent records. So next step is step 9, create the final flow diagram. The final flow diagram is a graphic of the first known relevant fact through the final known relevant facts. It is developed using all the information obtained in fact-finding investigation. The final flow diagram follows the same graphic constructs used for the initial flow diagram, that is shapes, arrows and text. Because the final flow diagram is constructed from the investigative work completed by the RCA team, interviews, simulations, document reviews, literature reviews and analysis, it is markedly different in detail and appearance from the initial flow diagram. Once the final flow diagram is complete, the RCA team will be able to view the event in its entirety and compare what happened to what should have happened. The team is able to visualize the deviations, formulate an understanding and answer why deviations occurred. If further questions arise, the team may need to do more investigative work such as follow-up interviews or document review for clarification. Next is step 10 is create the cause and effect diagram. So first thing is it is very much required. So there is no question arises that it is not required. It is very much required. So what is that? What is a cause effect diagram? Systematic method. It is a systematic method and it determines causal links. It shows a starting point and represents preventing problems from occurring. Example is like near miss, and recurring example is fire happening. A cause and effect diagram is a systematic method of determining causal links showing a primary effect of consequences. This helps to reduce finger pointing and placing blame on any one person. It helps in identifying barriers. So, creating the cause and effect diagram continues. Work backwards with caused by statements for specific actions and conditions until a reasonable preceding cause or contributing factor can no longer be identified. I am again repeating this because it is very important to develop a cause and effect diagram. Work backwards with caused by statements for specific actions and conditions until a reasonable preceding cause or contributing factor can no longer be identified. So this is the example of a cause and effect diagram. It is also sometimes known as fishbone diagram because it is having so many arrows linked to one another. So this is an example of cause and effect diagram. Next is step 11 is craft the final understanding. It is separate from and complementary to the final flow diagram, and it is written as a narrative and complete understanding of the flow diagram, and it includes all work of RCA team. It begins with first known relevant fact ends with last known relevant fact. It addresses missing information and gaps in knowledge. It helps understand the event and its root cause or causes and contributing factors. This is the time to tell the story of what happened and your findings and fill in details that are difficult to include in the process flow mapping. Tell of the known facts from start, first known relevant fact to finish the last known relevant fact, and include information derived from interviews, simulations, document reviews, literature reviews, and analyses conducted by the RCA team. The narrative also assists in understanding the root cause and contributing factors statements that follow the written RCA. So in the next step, step 12 is identify and craft root cause and contributing factors statements. So it first synthesizes the RCA team's findings from all previous work depicted in the final understanding. It identifies what system elements must be improved. Next continues. Statements. What should be the statements? Addresses causal factors or action plans. Contributes the most. Which contributes the most? Have the greatest impact on the system and have potential to prevent recurrence. Need to lead the team to an appropriate action plan. Be understood by the code reader. Use the 5 rules of causation reviewed on the following slides. Next step is identify and craft root cause and contributing factors statements. First, rule 1 is clearly show cause and effect relationship. Next, rule 2 is use specific and accurate descriptors. Rule number 3 is human errors must have a preceding cause. Rule 4 is violations of procedures are not root causes. Rule 5 is failure to act, and these are only causal if there is a pre-existing duty to act. So next, step 13 is develop actions statements. Action statements identify specific tasks or tools for implementation within a reasonable time frame in order to eliminate or control system hazards or vulnerabilities identified in the root cause or contributing factors statements. Optimal designs can help to reduce errors, severity of the errors, and recurrence of the errors. Each action must be traced back to a cause or contributing factor. Use the action hierarchy and focus on the strength of the action. Listen to all ideas to identify the most effective actions and defer to the expertise of the team. So this is the action hierarchy. Action statements lead to an action plan. So it provides a standardized list of actions that help to develop the action plan. So these are 3 types of actions: stronger, intermediate, and weaker. Strongers are likely to eliminate or greatly reduce the recurrence of the event. Intermediate actions may help to control the event identified, and weaker actions less likely to be effective when used alone. So the stronger actions are less reliance on humans and the intermediate and more weaker actions are more reliance on humans, and all levels of actions are important. So let us discuss the how to develop action statements in detail. So what are the stronger actions? Stronger actions are architectural or physical changes, new devices with usability testing, and engineering control or interlock. Next, it simplifies the process and removes unnecessary steps, standardizes equipment, processes, protocols, clinical guidelines, etc., order sets, coordination of care, and high reliability and training is required, and leadership and culture change is a must. Next comes, what are intermediate actions? Intermediate actions may eliminate or substitute system or device. Second, enhanced documentation or communication and redundancy. Software enhancements and modifications are required. Staffing plans or workload may improve, may change, eliminate or reduce distractions, and read back. Checklist or cognitive aid, eliminate look and sound alikes, and training with simulation. These are the intermediate actions. Next comes, what are the weaker actions? Weaker actions may double checks, warnings and labels, new procedures, memorandum or policy, and training, additional study or analysis, incentives, supervision, and warning indicators. These are the weaker actions. So next step is final thoughts. So it should be diverse perspective. Final thoughts should have diverse perspective. Next, ask questions and challenge assumptions. Next, ensure that there is a responsible person that can implement the action plan. It may require a team, but there needs to be a responsible person. Reasonable time frame to implement the action and examine the feasibility. And weaker actions may also be used as temporary measures until the stronger actions can be implemented. Training and policies are necessary, but if they are used in isolation, they may not be enough for sustained improvement. And obtain senior leadership approval, it is must. So next, step 14 is develop outcome measure statements. Outcome measure statements are metric statements that determine the effectiveness of an action, are quantifiable if appropriate, specify a time frame for measurement, and set realistic thresholds. So next is develop outcome measure statements. So first, to know importance of outcome measures. So it is said by Peter Drucker that what gets measured gets managed. So the outcome measures might be process and outcome measures, and every action needs a measure, and understand what, by whom, and when measures will be done. So this is the importance of outcome measures. Completing the outcome measure statements. So process measures, what are these? Process measures improve quality by helping to reduce the amount of variability, and they measure the specific steps in a process, and if the process is not followed properly, the desired outcomes may not be achieved. So this is the importance of process measures. Next is Understand the importance and purpose of process and outcome measures. Both are important. Often measures are presented as percentages or ratios. Be sure each action has a related outcome measure. By tracking performance, you will know whether the actions put into place have improved results. Now, step 15 is providing the feedback. Staff who submit a close call or adverse event that results in an RCA should receive feedback on the recommended action taken. Failure to receive feedback is a commonly cited barrier to reporting adverse events or close calls. Prompt feedback helps establish trust in the system, also demonstrates the commitment of organization regarding the importance of reporting, and it demonstrates closed loop communication. Next, step 16 is identify lessons learned. One or two statements that synthesize information or findings learned during the RCA process. They are shared with the facility. Next is they should not be confused with the actions that are pertinent to addressing the root causes and causal factors of the case. And there may be system level topics that do not directly influence the outcome of the event under analysis. Next is step 17 is prepare and present findings to the leadership. So this is very important because we must report back to the leaders because they have directed us to do the RCA. So it is the responsibility of any RCA team members or every team member to give the feedback to the leadership team. A final RCA presentation to the director and leadership team facilitates action plan concurrence. It may be printed or may be a PowerPoint presentation. So because the feedback to the leadership team must be in a presentable manner, so it may either be printed or may be a PowerPoint presentation. Upon completion of an RCA, it is very much important to monitor the actions and outcomes of the RCA, because if the actions and outcomes of the RCA done are not monitored and implemented, then all the efforts put during the RCA will go in vain. So RCA actions and outcomes must be monitored and tracked for completion and sustainment. Systems should be in place for monitoring and tracking. Assigning one person to complete this function is not effective. The status of RCA actions and outcomes should be standing agenda items at safety committee or work group meetings. These updates are recorded in the meeting minutes. Upon completion of an RCA, communicate the improvements to the staff. It is equally important to communicate the improvements to the staff. Process improvements should be communicated to staff, facility staff. Significant final step so that staff are aware that event reporting makes a difference in the work they do. Safety forums are one method used for this communication. Upon completion of an RCA, calculate the cost of the RCA. So, my dear friends, this is also very much important to give the management the exact cost of the RCA. because every act is costly. So it has a price tag associated with it. So the management must know the cost of the RCA done. So be sure to include all costs. Next, person hours for all members of the RCA team and any staff consulted during RCA. Multiply this by the hourly cost of each person involved in the RCA. Consultation costs for any non-staff time, costs of materials used, any additional costs incurred during the RCA. So my dear friends, all these things must be included in the calculation of the cost of the RCA, and this final figure will definitely be communicated to the management, and it is the management's decision and right to know how costly it was to do the RCA.
Dear friends, I am providing you all the informations free of cost which are available in my YouTube channel. So do help me by watching all my videos. Do subscribe my channel. Regularly visit and repeatedly visit my channel. Do watch all my videos, contents, like the content, share with your friends, and so that I also get motivated from each one of you as you subscribe to my channel. I am very much thankful to all my subscribers who believe in me, have subscribed my channel and like my content. So to motivate me further, please do subscribe my channel, increase the subscriber count, share with your friends so that others can also gain the knowledge. And my dear friends, all if you subscribe my channel, this will motivate me to do further better. So I hope you like the content and found the video worth. So again request you to please don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Also remember to press the bell icon so that you can get the notification of the new videos promptly. My dear friends, here if you want to advertise about your product, services or company or anything else for gaining popularity in my channel, so you can contact me so that I can put your content for advertisement in my videos, forthcoming videos. So it will be a good platform to advertise. So do contact me as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching this video till the end, and I am very much again thankful to all of you who helped me, who believe in me, and please do visit my channel regularly and repeatedly. Thank you very much again. See you in the next video. Thank you.